Hey folks, welcome back. I am very excited to be joined right now by Felicia, Josh, and Ken from Dirty Beast Games, and they're going to tell us all about their latest game, Feral Frontier. Hi folks.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
And why don't you tell me about Feral Frontier?
Feral Frontier it's a action side-scroller platformer that's got a nice mix of combat and exploration. It's sprite-based, anthropomorphic, dystopian setting. So it's got a little bit of a retro look to it to people who think about it that way when they think about sprite art, pixel art.
We got a lot of different mechanics for movement and combat, and we're just trying to throw, it's kind of just like a love letter to all the games that we grew up with, and then just like, I don't know, just the kind of game that we've always wanted to play, but like kind of never have.
That's awesome. I love the retro feel of the game. You know, from the trailer, it just looks really, really cool. So what are some of the mechanics that you're the most excited about?
I would say what I'm really excited about is how the combat works and how it kind of feeds into the platforming. Because a lot of things you do kind of help get you jumps. Like you can grab an enemy and throw him down and kind of use that as a jump, or you can attack downward and bounce off his head. But we really try to like make the systems kind of integrate so that all your skills kind of help you, whether it be puzzle solving, platforming, or combat. But lately we've been working on combat, so I think that's a good one to talk about because it's fresh. And what's cool about the combat is that we're like influenced by like fighting games a little bit, like Smash Bros, like particularly I'd say. It has a rock, paper, scissors, so you can grab somebody who's blocking, you can block somebody who's attacking, or you can attack somebody who's grabbing, and those kind of help cancel each other out. So it's got that kind of that lineage of like it's like, imagine how Smash Brothers, it's like a fighting game with like platforming elements. Well, this is kind of more like a platforming game with fighting elements. So it's like if Smash Brothers was a platform fighter, we're like a
you could actually go on and like an adventure in Smash Bros. Basically, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, like a Smashvania or something where you could like explore,
awesome.
but you have this like move set that's gonna feel reminiscent of Smash Bros. in a lot of ways. But we also take a lot of hints from, I mean, like Ken was saying, a lot of classic retro games that we grew up playing, but I'd say that if we were to categorize what it feels like, it maybe feels like Mega Man X and Smash Brothers in a way.
Yeah, Mega Man X Smash Brothers is a bit more heavy on the, I would say, narrative elements.
But we take so much even from modern games too. So like we don't I don't think we like want to really market ourselves as retro, even though I use the word. So shame on me. But it's like we wanted to imagine how cool like a game from that 2D lineage would be if we had continued going down that path. Like some people call it like high bit or whatever. It's not 8-bit.
Yeah, somewhere between the GameCube and the Super Nintendo. Like where would we be now?
PlayStation 1 maybe or something. Yeah. Like,
absolutely.
So it doesn't feel old. Like you're going to use all the buttons. It's going to feel like you may as well be playing like God of War or something. Like you got all these, or any modern action game in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, some people have even talked about our game kind of being, I mean, obviously it was on the radar for people about Breath of the Wild, but it's because, we're not only bringing fighting mechanics into it, we're bringing a lot of the platforming aspects. So, if you're climbing, you might be able to actually like hold an enemy while you're climbing and use that as a shield. Or, I mean, we're obviously working on a lot of different things, but like we're thinking of how can we make, combat and platforming interchangeable so that you're, not only when you're grabbing somebody or blocking somebody, how could you use that as like something more than just like the sort of essential, like, oh, I'm blocking, therefore that's it. No, can I block and then can I use that as an attack against an enemy by using them as a meat shield or, something like that.
But I guess it's about like integrating the systems in such a way that there's so many options for the player that any given moment, the solution isn't a singular solution. Like we didn't want to have a game where it requires like a singular solution. We wanted a game where people can be kind of creative. It'll be very friendly to speedrunners and people who really enjoy mastery, I'd say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And have their style, I guess.
So how did this all come together? How did you all, get together and start making this? Where did the idea come from?
Well, me and Josh have been working together for a few years now, a lot, like almost a decade now, actually, probably. Just like we got together, kind of learned, we both were interested in game design, but never really made a game. And we just decided to try to make something for BostonFIG a few years ago. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
That's awesome. So what do each of you do on the team?
I do, sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Let's go.
Well, I do animation of like the sprite art and stuff. So yeah, the visual art aspects. I'm trying to write the story a little bit, but I feel like the gameplay comes first. So that's taken a back seat at this point. And then just general I kind of help Ken with play testing and debugging it in the sense I found a glitch, what's this, or give him feedback and kind of help give creative input. So it's kind of small team. So we all kind of probably have put a lot of different hats on at some point, but that's my focus, mostly the visual.
Yeah, I focus mostly on community management. So if you're on social media, you're emailing, I handle that, the website. I sign us up for events. If I see competitions, I take a look at those and I kind of comb through it. But I also just kind of fill in where I can. Sometimes, if they need help with something in some particular way, I just kind of step in and I have my own background in graphic design and
yeah, she fills a lot of gaps.
Yeah, so. I do. I'm an SEO consultant by day, so a lot of different things.
I think it's so important. So many indies underestimate the importance of having marketing at all. Like, just so many people don't even think about it, and then they make an amazing game, and then no one ever hears about it, and then it just.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing is there's some beautiful games out there that are really diamonds in the rough, and they don't have the marketing budget compared to like some other companies, and. It really would just take some
of how to get started doing SEO or doing social media marketing or anything like that. So it's a critical role.
But yeah, that's pretty much mostly what I do. I'll let you take it from here, Ken.
Oh, sure. I'm doing the programming, so I'm building the game, and I'm doing the music as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I see that the keyboard behind you there, and maybe a couple other instruments kind of.
Oh yeah, I got a drum set, I got a keyboard, I got a guitar and a bass over here, and I'm mediocre at most of them, but I'm good at sitting on a computer and holding notes down and making cool sounds, I guess, on the keyboard.
That's awesome. So it's a truly indie operation. Is it just the three of you, or do you working with any other collaborators?
It's just the three of us. For the most part, the in-game content is pretty much just Ken and I. So that's it's.
Yeah, they're both powerhouses. They crunch.
We wanted to kind of make something like entirely ourselves and not be spread too thin. Keep the kind of creative vision, tight. And I guess like Ken was saying, he says he's mediocre at a bunch of instruments. I think it's better to be mediocre at a bunch of things sometimes, because then you can go rogue and do it yourself. That's the point of indie in a way. So we're not hyper specialized to be hired by maybe some AAA company. We're just kind of, we had a big vision of what we want. Well, we had our own little vision, I guess, of what we wanted to see in a game. And it's kind of evolved over that. It really is taking an organic thing, an organic path, I'd say. We're not super professionals at this, like previous games or whatever. We just kind of Ken and I have just been messing around for 10 years, and it's kind of like we just go. It's just art. We just kind of go in the direction that we think is cool and feels good, and it's not like we had a really clear vision at first, and we just went for it and had this deadline for ourselves. We just kind of let it build, and we've had previous prototypes and we've kind of updated and stuff. But like Felicia was saying, we just started Feral Frontier for BostonFIG. What was it? 3 years? 2 years ago? I forget.
Think it was 3. Yeah, 3 years ago.
2 or 3. And we have full-time jobs and stuff. We're not.
Yeah, we ended up going to a lot of BostonFIGs in the past few years, and we went there. We were like, oh my god, these games are really cool, and we've been working on little things here and there. We're like, we need to put something
Yeah,
out
like
there.
I feel like
Yeah.
we should
We
come
wanna
here
do
and do
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
That is
it
so
basically gave
awesome.
us the motivation to just like, all right, let's crunch.
Yeah,
A few
it
months,
kind of,
like we
I
need to
guess
get
you could say
something.
like in that way, like BostonFIG did get us to like even just start calling this, naming the game. We didn't
Yeah,
name
yeah.
ourselves Dirty Beast or Fell Frontier until we had to sign up for you guys that time.
Right.
And you know, before then we were just people just kind of just messing around, you know, that we're still doing that. We still do that in our free time.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. I love that story. That makes me so happy to hear too, because that's, you know, that's the whole idea of Boston Fig, is to kind of make new game creators. So that makes me really happy. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
it gave
this
us the
story.
deadline we needed.
Yeah,
the
right.
these
deadline
guys would just be
definitely
in outer
helped.
space if it wasn't
Totally.
for a deadline.
But like how much can we turn this into like a playable game within, I don't know, did we have like 3 months? We had like 3 months basically. that we
I
were-
think it was 3 months. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Originally from the first time we entered. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it wasn't
Incredible.
even like what kind of game, like any kind of crazy ideas we had, we kind of just like just went with them and we were just like we just want to make a game. Like that was like the first Boston Fig. I was like, I just want like a playable game that looks polished and plays nice. Like I don't care exactly what it's going to turn into, but like we just wanted to get all the elements there for the first Boston Fig, and then yeah, it just turned into what
That's
it did.
amazing. So where are you right now with production?
That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. We're still, I mean, we keep saying that, like, we've done a lot of interviews about the game. We're always like, we're almost there with our vertical slice. We're like 90% there, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get this polished, all the mechanics in there, and then start building levels and building the rest of the game. And I feel like we have almost everything in there, but we've been saying that for a while. But
Yeah.
this time,
I mean, it's been a
I'm-
crazy year
yeah.
for us. So.
it has been
you know.
it has been a crazy year.
It is. It
Yeah.
is that kind of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like once we get the combat to a good point, I feel like we can kind of move forward at that point. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess like we're kind of perfectionists to some degree. We want it to be like, you know, a very certain way. And then also I'd say, you know, we don't have the same kind of pressures of being employed, you know, at a major studio or something.
Mhm.
So, you know, we have our lives and stuff. So we kind of progress at whatever pace. The idea is that like we just want it to be as good as possible before we actually pitch it to a publisher, and then
or
then
even at
hopefully
least a demo.
yeah.
Or anything like that.
yeah. So I guess like in that way we're kind of perfectionists. So it takes a long time. But
And events like FIG and like PAX, we were at PAX the past couple of years. Like those have been huge. Like we see like people playing the game, and they find stuff that we didn't find, or they'll be like, you know, this is too easy, or this is too hard, or this is weird. And like we'll go back and like kind of go back to the drawing board like after a lot of these events and kind of redo things.
Yeah, it's so pivotal to get that feedback from people. It's especially when you're working in a vacuum, then you sometimes, especially like you forget how like hard or easy your game is to play because you play it all the time. So
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, and also just seeing like, you know, kids playing it, which is an amazing thing because it's like, you know, you don't have a bunch of kids just to like pull
The
from.
kids are
and just-
impressive.
It's really, it's
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
honestly. Every time I go to these events and we show the game off and we see kids play it, I'm like, wow, like you just did something I never saw somebody do. And I'm just blown away about how experienced some kids are with like games. And
Oh, absolutely.
it's fun because it's like it lets us know like, oh, what translates to different audiences and age groups.
Yeah, I guess sometimes like you go to an event and one of the challenges is that there's always going to be some people who don't quite get it, or it's not really their thing, but they're kind of curious, so they check it out. And if you think like I got to design for them, or I got to design for everybody, like that might kind of trample on the vision of like what you're focused on for the game. So I
Mhm.
feel like when we have kids come by who couldn't possibly have that kind of long gaming history behind them, and they kind of pick it up and they do well sometimes, it gives me like hope that like it's maybe, you know, a niche game in its respect, but it's not like it's beyond the grasp of somebody who this is kind of their thing, I'd say, and some kids, maybe they don't know it yet, but it could be their thing, I guess. Like we've seen a lot of like young, like it's situations
we've
where
had
like, a young kid
people,
does well.
we've had people who are, I don't know, older than 35 who pick up the game and say, oh, the last game I ever played was Sonic back in the day. And that was it. I've never played ever again. And then they pick it up. And so it's like, it's really fun to like see, okay, well, there's obviously some things here that are translating that, where we've gotten the core down. But if you feel there's still things that are missing in that core, we have to like answer it. So that's kind of obviously like our next steps are the combat, but we have to keep making sure that no matter where we get to with the game is that it still translates to those people.
But yeah, like Ken and I wanted to start like a challenge. We wanted to make it challenging, I guess. Like we wanted to feel like the old games when we played were like, they were hard in a lot of cases and unforgiving. And maybe we'll be a little more forgiving than those games, but we did want there to be a challenge. And
From software, anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we take influences from modern games too. I mean, we both are fans of Dark Souls, and we like that stuff too. But yeah, I guess we want it to be challenging. So it's interesting when you have to go take input from the public who are coming to check out your indie game for the first time ever, and you do learn a lot, but at the same time, you have to like maintain your kind of like creative vision and just be like, despite all those things, like this was what we wanted it to be, otherwise
Absolutely.
It'd be like designed by committee or something, I guess.
Yeah. So switching gears a little bit, I'm asking everybody about, let's say somebody's trying to do what you're doing. Someone wants to make a game and they've never done it before. What advice would you give to them?
Go on YouTube. Definitely look up some tutorials. Find the way that you'd want to program the game, I guess. We're using Game Maker, which was very easy to get into making a game very quickly. It's for any level. You could start as a beginner level and do all drag and drop, or you can get into like the nitty gritty of the code. It's really usable, I guess. And just do it. Yeah, just do it. And I don't know, like one thing that motivated me, like when I reached out to Josh originally, I was starting to learn game design, but like, I had no one to talk to about my ideas or anything like that, and like, or bounce my ideas off of, or just like nobody who cared, So like I reached out to Josh because I knew that he was also interested, and it just kind of playing off of each other kind of keeps the interest going and keeps it so you don't get burnt out, I guess.
Yeah, that helps. But it could be a challenge. I see a lot of like young kids and sometimes students for going to school for becoming game devs, and it's a challenge to create a team and kind of hold that team and keep that team together. There's a lot of force pulling everybody in a lot of directions, especially if they met their friends in college and they go their different ways after college. So it can be it's definitely beneficial, but it's really hard to like. It's hard to probably maintain that. So keep your team small, keep them with people that, are close enough that like you feel like they're not going to tear away anytime soon. And I would say create small wins for yourself so you can get that little game loop for yourself, that little psychological victory. Don't bite off huge chunks. Like we kind of didn't take our own advice here. We bit off chunks too big. Maybe we're disproportionately committed compared to some people out there, but I'd say it's good to finish something, and it can be a bad thing. It's just good to like hit your milestones so that you can feel like you did something and you made something. Because I as an artist, I could get stuck in like analysis paralysis forever and just draw it this way. But it's better to just do it once, and if it's not good enough, do it again. And then if that's not good enough, do it again. And then I just do it again, and I do it again. Rather than taking forever to do it the first time perfectly, it's better to just make the mistake and then do it again.
And that failure can just lead to so many learnings that you can take forward into the project that you're working on, into the next project for, the rest of time. You have that experience to draw from.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is, first like figure out where you feel your calling is. So a good YouTuber to listen to is Game Maker's Toolkit. Mark Brown. He's got an awesome channel. He just like listening to him, I feel like you could just go so many directions, whether you want to be a person who does environmental design or narrative or combat, whatever it is. But I'd say secondarily to that is get involved in game meetups. So, whatever, Boston Game Dev meetups, smaller competitions at colleges. If you're an artist, you could join a smaller team, do one of the 24-hour competitions. A lot of people don't know this, but Team Cherry's Hollow Knight was entered into a competition like that, and they won. And they use that as kind of like their jumping off point to eventually create Hollow Knight. So like if you're looking to just kind
It's a game jam, right?
It was a game jam, yeah. So like basically if you're looking for like, I need this little push, I need something small, some small win, that's a really quick one, is just get into, if you're an artist or if you're a programmer, a lot of times there's a deviation between people who are artists and programmers. They're kind of different ends of the spectrum, and sometimes they're the same, but like if you have a hard time as an artist finding a programmer, join a game jam, get into a group, or talk to the coordinator,
like
and they can help you find a group.
A lot of the challenge is programmers finding artists is what it seems like when we're at events and stuff. So, I mean, maybe they need to start going.
Yeah, or if you're a musician, you can get into those things as well. So, but yeah, I would say if you want to do a small game jams are an awesome way to do that.
Definitely, absolutely. Game jams was one of the things that really got me started making digital games as an adult. Really, like it's like speed dating for having collaborators. So
yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, then it's only the weekend. So
yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Well, now is a great time to tell us about where people can find out more about Dirty Beast Games and find out more about what you're doing with Feral Frontier. So, websites, Twitter handles, all that good stuff.
Sure. You can find us where we're most active is on Twitter. So you can find us at twitter.com/Dirty Beast Games. We're also on Instagram at Dirty Beast Games. Our website is dirtybeastgames.com, or you can go to feralfrontier.com to get more direct information about the game itself. We don't have a full-fledged page, but we do have a Steam page that you can wishlist us on if you just search for Feral Frontier. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as where you could find us.
I mean, Instagram, I guess, right?
Yeah, I said Instagram. So we're also on Facebook, but it's kind of hard at this point to really move on Facebook. But you can find us on Facebook at Dirty Beast Games as well.
Don't bother with it. Just go to
just go to Instagram or Twitter. Just don't
go on Facebook at all. Actually,
just never go on Facebook. Just avoid it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ken and Josh and Felicia. It was really lovely talking to all of you.
Thank you
too.
Yeah, thank you so much.